This is IGN. Coming up, the original Popeye is now in the public domain. Now how long until the horror movies? Welcome to your IGN Daily Update. But first, Marvel Rivals developer NetEase has issued an apology to disgruntled players who it unfairly banned for cheating. In a post on Discord, NetEase admitted it had mistakenly flagged as cheaters some who were playing incompatibility layer programs, even though they were not using cheating software. This unfortunately resulted in false bans, although NetEase failed to say how many. We sincerely apologize for this situation and want to assure you that we do not and will not ban players who are playing fairly and without cheating, NetEase said. The developer said it had made a list of affected players and lifted their bans. We've identified the specific reasons behind these false bans and have compiled a list of affected players, it said. We have lifted these bans and want to express our heartfelt apologies for the inconvenience this has caused. The news comes ahead of Marvel Rivals Season 1 and the arrival of Fantastic Four playable characters releasing today, January 6th. Marvel Rivals is a smash hit for NetEase, securing 10 million players in just 3 days and 20 million in 2 weeks. And at last, it's time for the most exciting live competitive event of the year. No, I don't mean the Super Bowl. It's time for Awesome Games Done Quick, the annual charity speedrunning marathon that features a week of talented gamers showing off the wildest things they can do with video games. Games Done Quick, or GDQ, has been running for 15 years now, since 2010. The event is a live broadcast speedrunning marathon, during which speedrunners take turns showing off beating video games as fast as possible, and often in wacky and especially impressive ways. In recent years, the events have shown off increasingly ambitious performances, including blindfolded or one-handed runs, 2 players using a single controller, showcases of tricky arcade games, and even speedruns performed by dogs. The annual event is held to raise money for the Prevent Cancer Foundation, having previously raised a record high of $3,442,033 in 2022 and $2,539,832 just last year. And this year's marathon has some pretty ridiculous runs on the docket. There's a run of Crazy Taxi backed by a live band, someone playing Elden Ring with a saxophone, a new Super Mario Bros. Wii run while simultaneously playing piano, a 2 players 1 controller run of Breath of the Wild, loads of randomizer races, and it all wraps up with a map randomizer race between some of the best Super Metroid runners out there. If you've never watched GDQ before, it's really worth tuning in. AGDQ 2025 kicked off Sunday, January 5th with a run of Pikmin on Nintendo Switch, followed by Portal 2. In fact, Sunday was full of bangers. Kirby's Air Ride followed, there was an Astrobot run, then The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, a run famous for appearing at GDQ every year and getting shorter each time, as the community discovers new run-changing skips. AGDQ 2025 runs until Saturday, and you can find the latest updates at IGN.com. 2025 has brought with it a new slate of works now in the public domain, and there are some iconic creations on the list. In the US, the length of copyright protection for works published before 1978 is 95 years. That means works from 1929 and sound recordings from 1924 are open to all in the US from January 1st, 2025. That's all films, books, songs, and art published during the Roaring '20s, now without copyright protection. Duke Law School's Center for the Study of Public Domain has a helpful roundup, but highlights include the original character of Tintin by Hergé, as he appeared in the Le Petit 20e magazine comic strip Les Aventures de Tintin. Also in the public domain is The Carnival Kid, Mickey Mouse's first talking appearance and the debut of his signature white gloves, and Alfred Hitchcock's first sound film, Blackmail. The most notable inclusion, however, is the original Popeye, who didn't eat spinach to gain strength, as he appeared in the Thimble Theater comic strip Gobs of Work, created by E.C. Seeger. Everything that he says, all of his characteristics, his personality, his sarcasm, that's public domain, Jennifer Jenkins, director of Duke's Center for the Study of Public Domain, told NPR. The spinach, if you want to be on the safe side, you might want to wait. January 1st, 2024 saw the first iteration of Mickey Mouse enter the public domain, and just a day later, a Steamboat Willie horror film was announced. Winnie the Pooh's Tigger also entered the public domain last year, as the character first appeared in A.A. Milne's The House in Pooh Corner in 1928. Tigger subsequently appeared in Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2, the sequel to Reese Waterfield's child-ruining horror flick. Winnie the Pooh 3 Blood and Honey is in the works. But 2025 is of particular interest because 1929 was the first year for film with sound, so it comes as no surprise to see there are a number of Popeye horror films already in the works. Popeye the Slayer Man is one. IGN Studios' Popeye, which is reportedly raunchy as well as gory, is another. Perhaps we'll also get a Tintin slasher in the coming years. 2026 will see works from 1930 lose their copyright, including the earliest versions of Betty Boop, Mickey Mouse's dog Pluto, teen detective Nancy Drew, and Agatha Christie's Miss Marple. That's your IGN Daily Update. My name is Tony Jackson, and if you want more news on your favorite games and entertainment topics, make sure to visit us at IGN.com. You can also download our free app on your phone or console, and subscribe to our weekly podcasts through the podcast service of your choice.
Spoken Layer.